While I recovered from surgery, my wife and daughter whispered outside my room. Once he's gone, we'll get the insurance and move. I'm tired of pretending to care. They came in smiling, not knowing I heard everything. 2 weeks later, they'd regret it all. While recovering from a near-fatal surgery, Mark lay in a hospital bed, weak, drugged, barely conscious, when he heard his wife and teenage daughter talking just outside his door. Once he's gone, we'll finally get the insurance money. I'm just tired of pretending to care about him. He thought he was dreaming. He wasn't. What followed wasn't a meltdown. It was a masterpiece of quiet revenge. Mark didn't scream. He didn't confront. He listened, watched, and waited, while the people he loved prepared to bury him, for profit. But here's the twist. They had no idea Mark was about to rewrite the ending to their story. Betrayal, strategy, and a dinner they'd never forget. But what did he do next? And how did he make them regret everything? You're not ready for how this ends. It started with a whisper. I lay there in that sterile, whitewashed hospital room, tubes in my arms, painkillers dulling everything but the ache in my chest, when I heard them. My wife Cindy and my daughter Megan, my family, my entire purpose, were just outside my door, speaking low. I didn't mean to listen. I was too drugged to even move. But then I heard something that shattered me. Once he's gone, we'll finally get the insurance money and move somewhere better. I know, Mom. I'm just tired of pretending to care about him. Time stopped. I didn't breathe. My heart didn't beat. My entire world collapsed in 10 seconds. I've been married to Cindy for 20 years. I met her when I was 27, loved her with everything I had. We built a life together. Our daughter Megan is 17, smart, sassy, ready for college. I thought we were a team. I thought we were a family. But apparently, I thought wrong. 2 weeks ago, I was rushed into the ER with a gallbladder infection so severe it felt like someone was tearing my insides apart with fire. I had emergency surgery, and it nearly killed me. My doctor said I was lucky to be alive, that my gallbladder had turned into a ticking time bomb. The recovery was rough. Painkillers knocked me out most of the time. I floated in that strange half-conscious state where you're not awake, not asleep, just existing. That's where I was when I heard those words. From Cindy. From Megan. About my death. About moving on. About pretending to care. Once he's gone. Not if. Not when. Once. It was a done deal to them. Just a matter of time. Like I was already fading out of their lives. Megan, the girl I raised, taught to ride a bike, stayed up nights for, built science projects with, said she was tired of pretending to love me. Pretending. Then they walked in, smiling like actresses. A bouquet of lilies in hand. Cindy kissed my forehead. Megan asked how I was feeling. I managed to thank you and said I was tired. They left almost too quickly, and I lay there, staring at the ceiling. I couldn't cry, couldn't speak, just existed in that raw, gaping silence. The worst part? A small part of me wondered if it was just a hallucination. The meds were strong. Maybe I imagined it. I clung to that hope. But then I remembered the strange questions Cindy had asked lately, about life insurance details. The comments she'd made about her friend's new house in a fancier neighborhood. Megan becoming more distant. Ignoring our Sunday football traditions. The signs had always been there. I just didn't want to see them. That night, I made a decision. I texted my brother Owen. We've always been close. I told him to come alone. Didn't say why. The next morning, he walked into my hospital room. I told him everything. At first, he laughed like I was joking. But when he saw the look on my face, he stopped. Dead serious. I asked him to check our home computer. He had a key. I knew Cindy and Megan would be out during the day. 2 days later, Owen came back with screenshots that nearly made me throw up. Searches like, how long after death does life insurance pay out? Average hospital stay for gallbladder surgery complications. She was researching my death like a homework assignment. Emails to a real estate agent about viewing homes we couldn't afford. Notes to a friend about how things would finally change once everything's taken care of. It was all there in black and white. The woman I'd shared my life with was preparing for my funeral like a business transaction. The girl I had loved like my own was tired of pretending. I thought of every memory. Our 10th anniversary trip to a lake cabin. The way Cindy held my hand at my mom's funeral. The nights I stayed up helping Megan finish essays. The laptop I bought with overtime pay so she could apply to college. Was it all just a lie? When they visited next, I watched them differently. I saw how Cindy's eyes flicked to the heart monitor. How she asked the nurses overly specific questions about my progress. How Megan stayed buried in her phone, barely speaking, always eager to leave. I started exaggerating my pain. Told them the doctor wanted more tests. Cindy's expression shifted, just for a moment. Was that hope? That night, I texted Owen again. Told him we needed a plan. After that night, something inside me hardened. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to cry. I wasn't even going to confront them. Not yet. This wasn't just betrayal. This was strategy. Cold, calculated betrayal. So I'd fight it the same way. The next morning, while Cindy was at work, I made a call to my old friend Arthur. We played football together in high school. He was the best man at my wedding. Now, he was a lawyer with a damn good track record. He picked up on the second ring. Hey, Mark. You okay? No, I said. But I will be. Arthur came to visit the very next day. Cindy was out with her book club, which, according to her Goodreads, she hadn't used in months. We sat in the living room, me still playing the part of the weak, recovering husband, wrapped in a blanket on a recliner. I told him everything. The hallway conversation, the browser history, the phone calls Owen overheard. Arthur's face was stone by the time I was done. This is chilling, he said. You need to start making moves. Quietly, before they realize what you're doing. I nodded. I was already halfway there. The first thing we did was change my life insurance policy. Cindy had been the primary beneficiary, with Megan listed second. The policy was worth $350,000. Enough, apparently, to make a woman turn cold and a daughter forget who raised her. With Arthur's help, I removed Cindy completely. Megan remained, but her 40% would now go into a trust she couldn't access until she turned 30. The remaining 60%? That would go to a cancer research foundation in honor of my father, who passed 10 years ago. And Owen would be the trustee. If I died, Cindy would get nothing. Megan wouldn't get a cent she could blow with her mom. Checkmate, quietly played. Next, we tackled our joint savings account. We had about $37,000 tucked away, modest, but hard-earned over 2 decades. I transferred $18,500 into a separate account under my name. Totally legal. Arthur had explained that, in most divorce proceedings, each party is entitled to half anyway. It felt like slipping a key out of a lock, like I was finally doing something to protect myself. While I handled the money, Owen took care of the home front. He came over often, helping around the house, helping me recover. Cindy welcomed the help. She saw it as one less burden. She had no idea she was being watched. Owen started noticing things. More phone calls from the back porch, always hushed. More references to the new place with her friend Lisa. Talk of neighborhoods we couldn't afford. One day, Owen caught her saying, "It won't be much longer now." Who says that about their husband recovering from surgery? I started documenting everything. Short video diaries, timestamps, evidence, emotional logs. Arthur said it would help if we ever had to go to court. But more than that, it helped me. It reminded me I wasn't crazy, that I wasn't imagining any of this, that what they were doing was real. Meanwhile, I was getting stronger, faster than expected. But I hid it. I walked slower, pretended the stairs were harder than they were. Cindy thought I was still weak. Megan barely noticed. I'd become background noise to her. Cindy started going out more, shopping, brunches, even a weekend getaway. I was funding it all, apparently, while being kept alive by the very person who wanted me dead. 3 days ago, I got my biggest confirmation yet. Cindy left her laptop open. I stared at it. I didn't want to become someone who snooped. But then I remembered the sound of my daughter's voice. I'm just tired of pretending to care about him. So I opened it. And there it was. A gallery of delusion and deceit. Emails with Lisa about our new start. A saved Zillow search for million-dollar homes. Credit card statements showing luxury items. A file titled Fresh Start Budget.xlsx. There were tabs for furniture, moving costs, even new wardrobes. And a note that made my stomach churn. Assuming insurance payout processes within 6 to 8 weeks. It wasn't just a dream. They were planning everything. And then came Megan. That part broke me more than anything. One afternoon, she left her phone unlocked on the kitchen counter. I wasn't snooping, not at first. But something drew me in. I knew her passcode, her birthday. She never changed it. I opened her messages. A group chat. Laughing about me. Calling me pathetic. Saying she couldn't wait to get out of this dump. That her mom promised they'd live in a real house once the money hits. One friend asked, "Isn't that kind of messed up?" Megan's reply? "Whatever. He's not even my real dad anyway." Just the guy who married my mom. That sentence broke me. Because it was true. Biologically, I wasn't her dad. Cindy had Megan when she was 19. Her father was long gone by the time I met Cindy. I raised Megan since she was 2. Gave her everything. And in one message, she erased all of that. I called Arthur again. Told him I wanted to move Megan's college fund. I'd been saving for it since she was 3. Not in a tax-sheltered fund or anything fancy. Just a dedicated savings account with about $42,000. I'd planned to give it to her as a surprise. But now, it would still go to her, but only for college, paid directly to the school, overseen by Owen. No car, no apartment, no cash, just tuition. If she really wanted a future, she'd have to work for it. That night, I made the transfer. Then I packed a small go bag, just in case, because the clock was ticking. Finally, I texted Cindy and Megan. Let's have a family dinner tomorrow. I'm feeling a little better, and I want to celebrate some small wins. Cindy texted back, that sounds lovely. Megan replied, sure. Whatever. Typical. They had no idea what was coming. The table was about to turn. I spent the whole next day preparing. Cindy was at work. Megan was at school. The house was quiet, just me and the ghosts of our life together. I made dinner myself. Spaghetti and meatballs. Garlic bread. A simple salad. It used to be Megan's favorite meal when she was little. I didn't know if she'd remember that. Honestly, I didn't care. I set the table with our best dishes, the ones we only used for holidays. Lit 2 candles. Printed out every piece of evidence and stacked them neatly in a folder beside my plate. I dressed up, button-down shirt, clean shave, my old wedding watch ticking quietly on my wrist. Everything had to look normal. The calm before the storm. Arthur texted to check in. You sure you want to do this alone? Yes, I replied. Because this wasn't a war. It was a funeral. For a marriage. For a lie. Cindy walked in around 5:30. She looked surprised at the setup. Did Owen help you with all this? No, I smiled. I'm stronger than I look. There was a flicker in her eyes. Something like disappointment. She covered it fast. Said she'd go change before dinner. Megan came home 15 minutes later, already mid-rant about something her friends had done. She stopped cold when she saw the table. What's all this? I wanted a nice family dinner, I said. She shrugged. Sure. Whatever. 6 p.m. sharp. We sat down. They dug in. I waited. Cindy started talking about something at work. Megan scrolled under the table. I asked her to put her phone away, just for tonight. She rolled her eyes but obeyed. And then, I began. Do you remember visiting me on day 3 at the hospital? I asked. Cindy nodded. Of course. We brought flowers. Megan chimed in. You barely remember that week, right? You were so out of it. I reached for my phone. Opened the audio file. Pressed play. Their voices came out tinny but clear. Once he's gone, we'll finally get the insurance money. Tired of pretending to care about him. I watched the blood drain from their faces like water from a broken pipe. Cindy's fork clattered. Megan looked like she was going to be sick. Mark, that's not what it sounds like, Cindy stammered. Yeah, Megan said. I didn't mean it. I swear, Dad. Don't call me that, I said quietly. Not right now. They both started talking. Excuses, apologies, anything. I let them run out of steam. Then I opened the folder. Screenshots. Emails. Browser histories. Photos of Cindy's laptop. Messages from Megan's group chat. Bank statements. Phone call logs to the insurance company. All of it. One by one, I laid it down like cards at a table. Until there was nothing left to deny. Cindy shifted tactics. She got angry. Started blaming me. Maybe if you had made more money. If you gave us more. If you didn't just settle for an average life. 22 years, I said. And that's what you remember? What I couldn't give you. She stared at me like she didn't recognize me anymore. I guess the feeling was mutual. Then I turned to Megan. She wouldn't look at me. I told her about the college fund. That it still existed. But she wouldn't be getting the money directly. The trust would only cover tuition, nothing more. No shopping sprees. No apartments with her mom. Just what I'd always intended. A future. Megan's eyes welled up. I'm sorry, she whispered. I was stupid. I didn't mean any of it. I didn't think you'd hear it. I didn't think. No, I said gently. You did mean it. You meant it in that moment. That's what matters. She nodded. Didn't argue. It was the most honest thing she'd done in weeks. Cindy began begging. We can fix this. Therapy. Counseling. Please, Mark, we're a family. You were planning my funeral? I said. Silence. I'll be staying at Owen's for now. Divorce papers will be served tomorrow. You'll both need to be out of the house by the end of the month, once we divide the assets. That's already in motion. Megan sobbed quietly. Cindy just stared at the table. The food had gone cold. I picked up my bag, already packed. Owen was parked a block away. I texted him as I walked down the street. I didn't look back. That was 3 days ago. Since then, my phone has exploded with texts and missed calls. Cindy swings between rage and desperation. Megan just writes, "I'm sorry," over and over again. I respond only when necessary. Logistics. Timing. Legal notes. The fallout has been rough. Mutual friends are choosing sides. Some think I should forgive, because family is family. But I don't owe forgiveness to people who placed a $sign where my heart used to be. I'm living at Owen's for now. Looking for a one-bedroom near work. Quiet. Simple. Free. 6 months have passed. The divorce was finalized last month. Cindy walked away with very little. The court didn't look kindly on what I showed them. She's working full-time now. Word is she tells people I destroyed her life. Maybe I did. Or maybe she destroyed it the day she decided I was worth more dead than alive. Megan and I, well, that's complicated. 2 months after the dinner, she asked to meet for coffee. She brought a letter, handwritten. She didn't ask me to forgive her, just wanted me to know she regretted it all. That she'd been angry, confused, trying to belong. We've met a few more times since. It's awkward, fragile, but it's a start. She's in college now, a state school, using the trust the way it was meant to be used. I don't know what the future holds for us, but I'm open. I'm not ready to write her off entirely. Some trust can be rebuilt. Others never. Cindy is the past. That chapter is closed. But me? I'm alive. Still standing. Still healing. And finally free.